Greetings Petrolheads, my name is the Tom, you're on my gaming channel, and today it's time for another episode of Automation, a car company tycoon game, and I'm gonna be reviewing another car. It is again from Caseworks. It's called the Beluga. So this is made in 2006, and let's see what it is. Okay, that'll fix itself, I think. So this is apparently a sports car. Kind of like a Corvette, maybe? I mean, obviously it looks like a Corvette because that's just the nature of this body shell, but... So it is carbon fiber, front longitudinal, double wishbone multi-link, and carbon fiber for the panels again. So it's expensive. As far as the looks go, wait, let me just do one thing first before spoiling it. Yeah, okay, that fixed it. As far as looks go, I think it looks aggressive and sporty. There's no badge on it or anywhere, so people who won't know it's from Caseworks. Well, it's on the rear end, which, you know what? Let's just fix this. Yeah, it doesn't look overly aggressive, but everyone can see at first glance that this is a sporty car. I guess a car that's meant to perform well. And therefore I think he did a pretty decent job. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of this front bumper here. But that's again in the eye of the beholder, and maybe a bonnet scoop would have been nice as well. But I can't really complain about this car so far. But what I do have to note, obviously, is that it's expensive. So let's keep that in mind for when we go to the engine and all that. Is it rear-wheel drive? It is rear-wheel drive. So let's go to the engine, which is a 4.8 liter dual overhead cam 5 horsepower per cylinder flat plane V8, which is made entirely from what? From aluminium, and then billet steel crank for extreme amounts of torque, which probably wasn't necessary. Forged would have done just fine, I think, but you know, billet steel is also lighter. Then I-beam steel for high revs, as we can see this revs pretty high. Lightweight forged pistons, 11.5 compression ratio, 53 cam profile for a decent mid-range torque kind of engine. Not, you know, top heavy like a Ferrari 458 engine. It is naturally aspirated, we saw that. Then it's got direct injection, a throttle per cylinder, performance intakes. Yeah, it's a sports car engine. 13.5 fuel mixture is still moderately low. It could be a lot higher. 91 ignition timing makes it so the power and torque come earlier than usual. 7200 RPM limit is fine, it's acceptable. Even though it does make its peak power right there at 7200 RPM, so a little bit of overrun might have been nice. Long tubular exhaust with dual, well, long tubular headers with dual exhausts. The diameter is a little bit big, but still fine. We're making more power if we increase it. Plus free quality, high flow, freeway cat, one reverse flow and one straight flow muffler should mean that it's not the loudest engine. You can still hear it rather clearly, but for a sports car, it could be a little bit louder. What was that? Yeah, the rev limit he can race to 7400 without any problem whatsoever, which I think would give this engine a lot more performance, just straight line or on track performance or whatever it is that you're after. And we can see just by increasing things per 2 points, even though we don't make any additional power, we get about almost 5 points more in the performance intakes and not intakes, index here. And that would make a difference. I can show you guys what difference that would make in practice. First, let's go through the rest of this car. So we got a 6-speed sequential gearbox, second gear not quite hitting 100 kilometers an hour, and a pretty low top speed. I don't know why, but you know, it's there. So sports compound road tires with 19-inch rims, 325s up front and 365s on the back. That's massive. That's probably more than you'd need. It's okay. Alloy wheels. Then we got vented discs with only 4 pistons front and only 2 pistons on the rear end. But should still be totally fine. We do not have brake fade or anything like that. 28.1 meters of stopping distance is very good. Very good indeed. But then again, we also have sports tires with +8 quality. So those are some sticky tires right there. They're gonna make for phenomenal grip and stopping power. And as far as aero goes, we have some active wings. Then we got a downforce under tray, 50 front angle up, 50 wing angle up front and 19 on the rear end. More than enough cooling airflow. Yeah, this engine requires just so little cooling. 2 seats with premium interior, premium sat nav, and advanced safety, along with all driver assists. No quality in any of these. So this is more like a GT car, not a true sports car. The suspension is a progressive spring setup with adaptive dampers and semi-active sway bars. You can see here that this car is going to ride relatively well, because those graphs, the yellow and the red one are close to each other. So the front and rear wheels they have about the same, like almost exactly the same movement when you're going over bumps, and the same goes for the body on the front and on the rear. So this is a pretty well riding car, if you will. Like, it takes bumps rather well, even though it is a little bit harsh, but it's equally harsh up front than it is on the rear, at least. So overall, this car weighs 1270.7 kilograms, 60 drivability, 66.8 sportiness, 43.7 comfort, which is maybe even a little bit low for what we got, with the premium interior, with the pretty quiet engine, with the 6-speed sequential gearbox instead of a manual. Yeah, but it's okay. It's not bad. And what else is there to say? 21.7 mpg, pretty much what you'd expect. Not fantastic fuel economy, but could be worse. Let's run around the effort track. there's the petrol head. Which one of you is standing right there is still unbeknownst to me. And across the line in 120.29. I reckon this car would be faster if you geared it a little bit longer. Like that. So that second gear tops out at 100 kilometers an hour. What would it do now? 120.12. And a quarter mile would take how long? 11.64 seconds. So 11.64 and 120.12. And now we're gonna increase the rev limit here just a little bit. And see what it does now. $120 flat and 11.6. So it is definitely faster with a slightly higher red line, which did not hurt average reliability at all. Basically, like 0.1 score here is just very negligible anyway. So we can also just decrease this a little bit so we can make sure we have pretty much the same top speed anyway as with the lower rev limit, 120.01. So it is definitely faster. It does have more performance with the slightly higher red line, and it does not suffer in reliability. So that's one thing you could definitely improve. Another thing, wait, I haven't looked at this yet. Total cost is 44,700 and a little bit, which means this car would probably cost like 150,000 bucks. So that would put it on par with what kind of Grand Tourer? The Ferrari is obviously more expensive, but what about the California? Even that is more expensive, isn't it? Aston Martins are more expensive, I think. But this would definitely, you know, I think it would struggle against cars like the Corvette, because it hasn't got the performance for that. Even though 4 seconds from 0 to 100 and a quarter mile is good, but I think the Corvette, maybe you know what, maybe it is a car comparable to the standard Corvette, but it's more expensive than the standard Corvette. So there's one thing. And then the other thing is it has a very nice drivability to spoiliness ratio, but it lacks a little bit in real excitement, maybe. If you want, like, it's good in a straight line, and it's pretty good around the track, and it's okay on the road with, you know, pretty sharp suspension, you gotta admit, and with the premium interior to somewhat compensate for that. But is it a sports car now? Is it a luxury GT car? Is it somewhere in between? Because for a true supercar it would need more performance. For a luxury GT car it would need, you know, more comfort. For something in between it's pretty good, but I struggle to find any comparable real world car. So this would be somewhere between a Corvette and say an Aston Martin V8 Vantage. There's where I see this car, and I think it fills that role relatively nicely. It's also very light, mainly thanks to carbon fiber and all that, so it has some benefits, obviously, but at the same time, if you want a Corvette, but like if you want a Corvette-like car, but not a Corvette, then I think this car would probably not fill that role, because it won't feel like a Corvette. You don't have that burbling V8 that is so loud and all that, and you don't have... You have way more in the way of luxury in here, and you don't have 4 seats as opposed to... Well, the Corvette doesn't have 4 seats either, what am I talking about? And the tires are too wide, I think, for 460 horsepower. It's got a little bit too wide of a tire. It's just not necessary. You can save weight and money by making those smaller. Not much, but you can save something. Still, overall a relatively good car. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, click the like button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.